Corey, I'll start off with you. So LeBron James had a high ankle sprain, which are very tricky injuries. He's out. AD's out. Corey, where do the Lakers finish in the West?
I don't know that a home court is necessarily a given at this point anymore. I think for the Lakers, their hope just has to be just get in, let LeBron be out as long as necessary to get healthy. AD especially, because you don't want to mess with Achilles injuries. And LeBron can be an 8 seed and still win a title. I think there's a chance that they could slip 5-6, something like that.
Yeah.
But as long as they're in, that's all the Lakers really need to worry about.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Mo.
All right. So look at it on my phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're fourth right now. I can see them sliding, but let's really look at this. They slide, a lot of teams be worried because if LeBron get healthy, the Lakers can still wait and let him rest and get there and let him get the playoffs. We can see a sweep on a low seed. We can see a sweep because now they're healthy and now teams don't want to bang with them. I'm gonna say this: if LeBron get healthy, and I know high ankle sprains are bad, but if LeBron get healthy, I can't really see a team beating them in the West, beating them 4 games. I just struggle to see it. Even with these trades, we can all say in a 1-game scenario what people can do. But when you talk about beating somebody 4 games, I struggle to see a team in the West right now.
Yeah.
If they get healthy and LeBron sits out and they do this smartly, that can beat them 4 games. I just struggle to see it. I'm
All
sorry.
right, cool. Craig, what do you think about that, Craig?
They're going to fall far. Like their schedule is brutal. Like the remaining games, I think they're sitting like 7th hardest schedule, and then they got 7 games in a row on the road, 11 out of 14 on the road, and they got 3 games at home, and they're playing Utah twice in Boston, and that is around like the 4-week mark when they play the second game against Utah, but the second home game against Utah, which is like it's like the 19th of April. So that's about the 4-week mark for LeBron. He's supposed to be out, what they say, like 4 to 6 weeks. So if he's out 4 weeks minimum, then he's coming back around that game, which is probably about 13 games he's missed. They've already lost 2 without him, 3 total with the Phoenix or with the Hawks game.
Hawks game, yes, 3.
And they're playing Philly tonight. Obviously, Philly doesn't have Embiid, but Philly has enough to beat that team. They got blown out the other night. Yeah, so I think they're probably going to fall to about 6. I don't know. 6 is probably a good spot for them because they can probably get matched up against Phoenix. I don't think Phoenix is good enough, veteran leadership wise. Or they have Chris Paul, but they're young. So I think if they fall to 6, I think they're good to get out of that first round. They fall to 7 and they got to play like the Clippers. That's going to be tough. Even though I think they could beat the Clippers, if AD and LeBron are healthy, 100% healthy, yeah, I think they can definitely eat. No matter what seed they get, I think they can come out. But if somebody is 80% or something like that, like Anthony Davis, or because he's supposed to come back, what I heard, in like 2 or 3 weeks. So if he's able to come back healthy and he's 100%, he's ready to go, and he finishes the regular season, then obviously they go from, in my opinion, like a 6 seed to maybe they stay in the top 4. So I think Anthony Davis is good enough to carry this team. And if they get Andre Drummond, then that's even better. But I think it all hinges on LeBron James in the playoffs. Regular season is one thing, but the playoffs is a whole other thing. As long as they stay in that top 6, it's going to be tough because that road trip is brutal. They play some tough teams. I think they can finish in the top 6.
Yeah, I was actually watching shout out to Lakers Nation. I watched them on YouTube, and they broke down the high ankle sprain versus the low ankle sprain. So it's like when you're tibia and fibula is the muscle in between, and you kind of sprain it. So it's swollen right now. That's why you heard LeBron yell, because it's not a good injury. The doctor they had on there, I think he's a doctor of physical therapist. He mostly graded NFL players. But what he said was, knowing that LeBron and the way that how healthy he is, And the way the Lakers have been cautious with Anthony Davis, LeBron's probably going to sit 4 weeks. Now, knowing LeBron, they could push it to come back too, but he was like, he'll aggravate it. And worst case scenario, LeBron comes back 2 weeks, he aggravates the injury, and he comes back he sits another 2 weeks and comes back, right? Or 3 weeks. The best case scenario is LeBron is probably going to sit 4 weeks.
So
he'll be back in a month. So I think the Lakers without LeBron, I think they're probably going to slip to that 6 seed, because if he comes back in a month, it's still a month of basketball. So if you think about it, if he comes back in a month, AD comes back in a month, so they'll be able to get their sea legs under them, and then they'll be ready to be probably by the playoffs 100%. Because LeBron in 4 weeks is probably 85%. But he's smart enough to know how much weight to put on and how aggressive to be.
And they can still finish in the top 10 and still have a chance to make the playoffs. With the playing game. So that didn't.
Right about that.